Does anybody remember the television series called SpongeBob SquarePants? If you did not know about it, I'll gladly tell you what it is. It's a show that revolves around the title character and an ensemble cast of his aquatic friends. SpongeBob himself is an energetic and optimistic yellow sea sponge who resides in a submerged pineapple as his home. SpongeBob has a childlike enthusiasm for life, which carries over to his job as a fry cook at a fast food restaurant called the Krusty Krab. The series officially premiered on 17 July 1999. It gained enormous popularity by its second season and subsequently received worldwide critical acclaim. It has inspired so many millions of children worldwide. That includes me. I remember watching one episode of it when I was a little kid. But what I'm here to tell you is that there is an operating system much worse than you would expect. And it would contain the stuff that would be found in people's worst nightmares ever. I mean, let me tell you the full story. Back in the year 1999, just shortly after the show was released, Microsoft and Nickelodeon both agreed to sign a contract about creating an advanced operating system that would be focusing specifically on SpongeBob. Yes, SpongeBob themed content. It's called the Microsoft Windows SpongeBob SquarePants operating system, or simply the Windows SpongeBob OS. It's an operating system that would bring revolutionary features like never before seen in the history of technology. The team of software developers have been working hard for months already on creating, testing, and finalizing the operating system, hoping that everything should go well within its release. But however, as the release date drew closer, strange glitches began to occur. The SpongeBob OS was reported to have mysterious bugs and glitches that couldn't be explained at all. Some examples of bugs that the team reported were that files would randomly disappear, the screens would flicker, and computers would often freeze. And strange whispers were heard coming from the speakers, as if the computers were like talking to them. Despite their best efforts, unfortunately the team was not able to successfully fix the unexplained bugs before the designated release date approached. And so the SpongeBob OS was therefore released in mid-2000 with the bugs remaining unpatched. And this is when things started getting weird. Shortly after the release date happened, users began to report strange occurrences while using the SpongeBob OS. Here are some of the things they reported. Some users claimed that their desktop icons would move around on their own, and files would even disappear before reappearing in unusual spots. Some people also claimed that their screens would flicker, cryptic messages were shown. Others said that they heard strange whispers coming from the speakers even if the computer was turned off. Some people also said that programs would open by themselves. Others said that their taskbar would randomly change colors every time they tried shutting down the computer. Another said that they claimed to have seen a figure resembling SpongeBob. Except he was all pitch black and he had white glowing eyes, and every time they tried to click away from the screen, he would follow their cursor no matter where it goes. Some people also claimed that the desktop icon would change to show disturbing imagery involving SpongeBob characters whenever the user leaves the room. Others claimed that their menus would open up by themselves, and every time they tried closing up, their desktop icon would brighten for a little bit. As the unexplained glitches continued, Microsoft and Nickelodeon were both forced to recall the Windows SpongeBob OS within 4 days after its release. The two companies never spoke of it again, but some say that the SpongeBob OS's code lives on, hidden deep within the darkest corners of the internet. And if you're not careful, it may just find its way onto your computer, bringing with it a world of terror and darkness that you may never escape. Now, fast forward to today. Right now, I am, and I've been working at Microsoft, and very recently I stumbled upon an old dusty computer with the SpongeBob OS operating system installed on it. When I turned on the computer, the boot screen showed the Windows 2000 boot screen, but with the SpongeBob characters on it, and that the operating system name read Microsoft Windows SpongeBob OS Professional. I just lagged it, and given it about its Windows 2000-esque boot screen, the startup sound was the same as the one used in Windows 2000 with Windows Millennium Edition. The user interface was also similar to the interface of other Windows software at the time. Everything was normal until strange things began to happen. Like what? Like what I said earlier, files would disappear and then reappear in unusual places. The screens would flicker, cryptic messages would appear. Menus would randomly open and strange whispers were heard coming from the speakers, even if the computer was turned off. When I clicked on the Internet Explorer icon, it opened up the browser window and everything was normal at first. Though, as I was scrolling and when I visited the Nickelodeon website, something strange showed up. The screen was an empty yellow background, and in the middle of it was a figure resembling SpongeBob SquarePants. The once cheerful, childlike worker at the Krusty Krab. Except it was all totally pitch black and had white glowing eyes. And shivers were being sent down my spine as the figure looked straight into me, with his gaze piercing beyond the screen. Until then, the figure said in a distorted voice, he said,
"You cannot escape me."
My instincts urged me to close the browser down. As I delved deeper into the files, I discovered a folder called SpongeBob Episodes, a folder that was buried deep within the chambers of SpongeBob's operating system. When I clicked on the folder, it showed video files of the many episodes of the SpongeBob SquarePants Pro series. I scrolled down and I decided to watch one of them, Dumped. While the episode played, everything went normal this time until something strange happened. And it was similar to that of the SpongeBob bootleg incident. It was like during that scene when SpongeBob was about to cry for Gary while holding two soap bottles that were labeled Fresh Scent and Heavy Duty, respectively. And instead of SpongeBob desperately crying like in the final episode, SpongeBob instead put said soap bottles down onto the floor. And then he blinked his eyes. Afterwards, his eyes abruptly turned pitch black. The whole scene stood still and he was blinking his eyes and he didn't say anything. His mouth disappears and the whole scene lasted for an uncomfortably long moment. And after several minutes of waiting, the screen suddenly froze and then an error message appeared right in front of me and it read, "The file dumped.mov cannot continue playing any further and needs to close itself." And after closing the folder, I saw a file open up on the screen. And it was called SpongeBob OS's Chambers. And when I clicked on it, it showed a cryptic message. The message was encoded in a Visioneer cipher and it read, "Did you really think you could?" After closing the file, I continued to delve deeper into the files of the SpongeBob OS. Eventually, I discovered a very dark secret about it. Turns out, the SpongeBob OS is no ordinary operating system. It's a sentient program having become possessed by a sinister force lurking in a realm far beyond human comprehension. Knowing that I had done a great mistake, I decided to open up the menu and then I restarted the operating system to see if the glitches would stop. Fortunately, they did, but Till then, shortly after I tried turning it on, a red screen of death. Yes, the boot screen of death, but with the color changed to red, appeared on my window, and the PC forcibly shut down itself. And when I tried to turn the computer back on, it refused to start up. The hard drive was completely wiped clean. And so I never found out what happened to that SpongeBob themed operating system. But the legend lives on as a cautionary tale about the dangers of exploring deep into the unknown parts of the labyrinth of ones and zeros where there are dark secrets that remain hidden in plain sight.